Chapter 2: The Road of Summer. Part 9: For the Livelihood of My Family. Early on in the second semester of the third grade of high school, I was confirmed to be employed at D Industrial Company. I was a 6-month probationary employee. In the beginning, there was no desk of my own in the office, and I went to the meeting room next to the president's office for the first time. All my classmates, including me, had to assist in the corporate disclosure. Several people sat around the oval table in the meeting room, working on the issue of new stocks. We were working on summing up the numbers and amount of stocks issued. We also wrote the name on the stock certificates and made the list of stockholders. In the days when there were no electronic calculators, the use of abacus was essential in the office. There were only a few mechanical calculators, and they looked like typewriters. The mechanical calculator was similar to a meter which displays the amount of gas when filling a vehicle at the gas station. First, input the number on the keyboard of the calculator. Second, turn the lever on the right, and the value of the calculation on the instrument panel. It was very inconvenient and slow, so few people used mechanical calculators. I could see why they put the students who were good at calculating to work. We worked around the meeting room table without bedtime for a week. The chief of stock management section evaluated us every day while overseeing the work. We had no choice but to be nervous about what it would be like to fall behind in the job evaluation, so we only worked. On my way home from work for a week, I fell asleep as soon as I sat in the bus seat. My father bragged about his son whenever he went out. He brought his drinking friend home several times late at night and introduced me to him. "He's my son. He works for D Industrial Company." When the probational period of 6 months was over, I was assigned to the overseas sales department that exported general merchandise. Almost all the employees in the department were college graduates. They were also graduates from top universities, including Seoul National University. In my section, there were 3 members, including me. By the way, the assistant manager and one of the staff were Seoul National University College of Commerce graduates. I kept looking at them in their buckles which stated their universities. I felt it was hard for an employee who was not from the university to succeed at this job. I had given up early studying for college because I had no money, and made up my mind to succeed as a high school graduate. However, when I saw them, I envied them, and my self-esteem dropped. I tried to think that they were from another world, but even in bed, their flashing buckles disturbed my mind. I had 3 younger siblings. My younger sister had to quit her studies because of money and went to a printing factory as a part-time job. When I was in the 3rd grade of middle school, the entrance to the middle school was changed to a lottery system without an exam. However, my second younger brother also went to the printing factory with my sister as soon as he graduated elementary school. The youngest was an elementary school student. In this situation, even if I made money, it was a priority to pay for my younger sibling's school, and I could not dream of going to college. I thought I should build my own skills instead of the so-called college diploma. I registered for the Japanese Academy in Tegero, Seoul. Yet seeing the reality that college graduates are favored in a competitive society, I felt that I had to go to college as the days passed. I applied for the Department of Management at the Korea National Open University and got past the document screening. At that time, the university was a 2-year college. It was established 2 years before I entered the college, and its headquarters was located in the Seoul National University building in Haewo-dong, Jongno. Since it was a difficult time for everyone to go to school due to the tuition burden, there was a lot of competition to get into the university. The broadcast class started after 11 p.m. on the radio. It wasn't even in the evening, and the lectures lasted 15 minutes for each subject during my bedtime. I felt drowsy when I listened to the broadcast. I listened to the broadcast with my eyes closed, but it was too hard. Moreover, it was a 2-year college, so its charm gradually dropped. Above all, I worried that I would not be able to go to the attendance class during summer and winter vacation. I worked in a new sales department at first. Most of the employees in this department had to find overseas markets, so there was not much to do unless it was in charge of sales. The sales staff prepared various samples and sent a large number of English letters to find buyers. There was a showroom on one side of the office, and various items were neatly displayed on the shelves. The general merchandise department I worked for initially exported wigs and dolls. However, as the department grew, in a few months the department was dealing in light industrial products and exported goods varied. It later became the foundation of the General Trading Corporation. It was under President Park Chung-hee. The Korean government implemented a 5-year economic development plan sequentially, implementing export drive policies and benefiting Korean conglomerates greatly in order to improve their international competitiveness. The government seemed to have only been interested in exports. The export driving policy and General Trading Corporation system played a major role in the rapid growth of large companies, and because of that, I was able to earn a decent salary. In the winter when I started working, my second brother was assigned to middle school. It was up to me to pay for the tuition. I didn't have enough money, so I pawned my wristwatch and borrowed money. I arranged 10,700 won for the tuition. I realized through short social activities that if a person wants to live like a human being, he or she has to study to find a way. I helped my younger sister be able to go to school. At that time, our society seemed to have been strictly divided into educational backgrounds. Companies hired people who graduated from top universities regardless of their majors. In the military, he could not become a high-ranking officer without a college degree, and without a school background, he would be a sergeant in his later years. Because of the heavy bureaucracy, those recommended by the government officials were employed at the top of the list in employment. Many people were finding employment through recommendations in an irregular basis. I hated this unfair and discriminating society, but I could not change the social structure, so I had no choice but to change myself. It was a difficult world to live in if I had not given up my pride. In those days, I felt as if I belonged to the low-class people. Although my father said that my family was noblemen, I did not believe what my father used to say. My family was noble. There was a genealogy in Gaesong. My family origin is Jeonju. We belong to Sarogong clan of Jeonju Che. We were separated from the Gyeongju Che family. There's also a mountain in Jeongdong owned by the clansmen. To me, such a story was nothing but a useless old one. To make matters worse, my mother got appendicitis even before the cold winter passed. My mother spoke with tears in her eyes. What should I do when my family life is so tight and I have appendicitis? We did not have any money to spend on hospital bills. At that time, there was no national health insurance system. When I told the assistant section chief in my office that my mother needed an appendectomy, He readily informed me to apply for an advance payment. I didn't even think of making an advance payment at all, but he rushed to sign the application form. I was able to put my mother in a small hospital in Yeongdeungpo, Seoul. I still vividly remember the assistant section chief who helped me when he heard about my difficult situation. It was early spring of 1974. A close high school friend lent me some money to help me move to a bigger house. He lent me 70,000 won on a loan from the bank where he had been working. 70,000 won was a large sum of money amounting to 2 months' salary. I didn't ask for this favor, but my friend lent me the money. Thanks to my friend, my family was able to move into 2 rooms in the neighborhood. From then on, I used one of them alone for the first time in my life. My brothers felt tense around me, so they didn't even get close to my room. Whenever I saw my friend, I thought I'd have some time to repay his kindness. The company grew more and more prosperous, and as I got used to what I was doing, I got a job in charge. I was in charge of shipping and certificates of origin, which was the necessary documents for the insurance of foreign bills of exchange and to accept the payment. We called it nego. It is a term that abbreviates negotiation. Assistant Section Chief Kim, who was in charge of the section, trusted me with all my daily work. D Industrial Company was famous for the largest amount of work and the highest salary in the country. I planned a day's work in the morning and went to work outside. Then I came back to my office in the evening to finish the day's work. I usually went to work at shipping companies when I went out. There I got bills of lading, and I got certificates of origin from the Industrial Promotion Agency or the Chamber of Commerce. I went to the industrial associations and got recommendations. I even delivered samples or documents to the hotel where the buyer was registered or the agent office. Almost all of the offices which I visited were located in Sogong-dong and Myeongdong, downtown Seoul. I also visited the Yeongdeungpo or Incheon container yards. I even made an emergency direct call with the staff at the Busan container yard. When I went to the shipping companies through the building forest in Sogong-dong, everyone was busy. The staff in charge of the shipping at the company usually called the Busan container yard directly. The phone was a hotline connected by wire from Seoul to Busan. He had to turn the handle on the right side of the black phone vigorously to call his coworker. The people in the office looked more busy with the sound of the typewriters in unison by the typists. Employees from other companies were clamoring for their bills of lading at the time. Bill of lading was simply cash on behalf of goods. At that time, I was very satisfied with my job.